evening, I'm Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange Live. And if it's Thursday, it's all about inspiration. What a guest we have for you tonight. A few months ago, he actually invited me on his show on the competition station. We had a fantastic time, but this is not just about reciprocation. This is a guy with an amazing story of inspiration, and you're gonna love it. Growing up in Siaya County, no less. And his dream was to be a priest. Father Larry. Oh my. Ended up, his first job in this business was working for a vernacular radio station. Kikuyu, no less. He's from Siaya, remember? The station was owned by Nakada chairman John Matudo, who still owes him money, but that's another story. Did that. Then from there, the rest, as they say, is history. Worked for KTN, worked for us for a while. Did an amazing job. From there, he went to CNBC, South Africa, Kenya, back and forth, and he decided home, east is west, east, west, home is best. Now, he's a superstar on another station, on NTV. You all know him. He's a technology and online editor. He's also an anchor, weekend anchor, and anchors a particular program called The Trend. So tonight's hashtag, you can use The Trend, because the man himself, Larry I'll get it.
Try that again.
Sorry.
Okay.
Larry Madowo. Larry Madowo is on the bench.
What an intro.
Oh my.
What an intro.
Twitter handle at Larry Madowo.
At Larry Madowo.
At Koinange Jeff, hashtag trend, JKL, whatever you want to use. But you guys, listen up. He's 27 years old.
Oh, now you've given it away.
And he is who he is. Good to see you, Larry.
Very good to see you too.
You know, I'm 22 years older than you. I just want to put that out there.
You moved to New York.
Yes.
After having already had an entire life.
Yes.
7 days before I was born. I read your book.
July
Excellent
7th.
book, by the way. Everybody go read his book.
Oh, sweet, man. Sweet.
Through his African eyes, yeah. Excellent book.
July 7th, 1987.
I was born on July 14th.
A week later.
Bastille
Day.
You had an entire life before I was born.
Hello.
Look at that.
And you've caught up.
I haven't caught up.
Let me explain.
I'm trying.
Allow me to explain. I call Larry and I say, let's show up 9:15. We can do makeup. We'll get ready. We'll chat. The whole thing. He shows up with an entire entourage. I thought it was Sonko who showed up. Makeup, a guy holding an umbrella, guy holding lights, camera. I mean, it looks like the trend has taken over.
You must show up with an entourage, Jeff. You don't just show up alone.
I showed up alone at your place.
Nobody does that.
Nobody told me.
You're not of this generation. So I showed up with Tony Airo, who does my makeup.
Right.
One of the best in this business.
Great guy. He's got shampoo, he's got gel.
The whole works.
You think it'll work on my hair?
We'll fix that in a moment. And then I showed up with Isaiah Maganga, one of the best photographers in this business.
Look at that. You got your own team. Do you have the Sonko rescue team outside as well?
If it was legal, I would.
Oh. So Larry, take me back. You wanted to grow up to be a priest.
I did indeed.
This was your thing. You thought this was your calling.
No, come to think of it, you would have invited me here as Father Larry Madowo. And I like the sound of that.
Father Larry.
Father Larry Madowo.
Father, forgive me for I have sinned.
It's been 3 months since my last confession, or in your case, it's been 22 years.
Oh!
So that was my dream growing up. I wanted to be a priest, so I did go to a Catholic seminary. It exists, St. Gabriel Seminary in Kisumu.
That's where you went?
That's where I went.
Are there pictures of you in priest garb?
The whole thing.
Were you an altar boy?
I was an altar boy. I served with the bishop and the priests, did the whole church thing, the whole shebang.
Can I ask you why?
It was my ambition. Growing up in the village, the priest was the one person who really had status in society. He turned up and old women...
They knelt down.
Yes. And they treated him with such reverence. And I was like, I'd like to be that guy. Because in my little world, the priest was sort of the most powerful, most influential person. I'm like, I can be that guy. And then they were close to God, so hotline to God, easy entry to heaven. It seems perfect, right?
Okay, are you still religious?
I am religious. I'm not a Catholic anymore.
You're not a Catholic, okay.
I'm born again.
Okay.
I'm saved.
From what?
I am a religious person. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I go to church every Sunday.
You do? Speaking of which,
Yes.
I heard you spent a couple of hours at Mavuno last weekend.
Yes.
On stage.
On stage.
Quoting chapters.
So here's the thing. I have spent the rest of my life trying to run away from the pulpit because I did, right? I thought I would have ended up a priest.
Yes.
But Pastor Simon Bevy calls me up and he's like, hey, listen, I have this message. They're calling it crime scene investigation.
CSI.
CSI Jerusalem. Yeah. And I'd like for you to come and ask questions like an investigator. I'm like, oh, that's what I excel in. I ask questions. I don't really know anything in the world. All I do is ask questions.
Correct.
The sillier the better. So I'm like, I'll show up. And so yes,
I heard you had a blast.
I had so much fun with Pastor Simon.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
He's excellent, right?
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Inspiring, and the boy child, that whole thing
He does Man Enough, which is a great
Man
project.
Enough, Man Enough. Well done, Larry. There are people who I didn't know this, so I'm sure there's millions of Kenyans who didn't know this.
Right.
So at what point did you turn the corner and say, maybe this is not me?
So here's the thing. When I was in high school, the seminary, I used to correspond with Consolata missionaries. I wanted to be a missionary because I love traveling. So I like the idea of being in Colombia, and then the other time you're in Papua New Guinea or whatever. So I wanted to be a missionary priest. And I used to correspond with the Consolata missionaries, and they used to get back to me and say, hey, listen, we'd love for you to join us when you're done. By the time I got to Form 4, I wasn't too sure about that. So I stopped corresponding with them. I'm sorry.
Do they still call you?
They don't call me anymore. I changed my email.
And you never showed up at Consolata?
And I never showed up at Consolata.
Yeah.
So by Form 4, I was sure maybe this was not the thing for me. So I was more inclined towards being a lawyer because I love to argue, have a big mouth, so I talk a lot. So it seemed the kind of thing for me.
Yeah.
But I ended up in journalism.
You can't make this stuff up. So you quit the priesthood,
Yes.
or the road to the
On
priesthood.
the road to the priesthood.
Yeah. You say law is not really for me.
No.
Journalism. So you do your thing, and you end up with your first job at a Kikuyu radio station.
My first job in broadcast, not my first job. My first.
In broadcast, yeah. Oh, that's right, because you left CI and came to Nairobi.
Yes.
Go on.
So I left here and came to Nairobi, and here's the thing that happened. So I'd convinced Fred Afune, who runs radio for Royal Media, that they just started YFM, then it was called now Hot 96, and they used doing this shank thing going on. It was so cool. I'd convinced him, you should give me a job because I'm good. I went for an interview and failed spectacularly. It was embarrassing.
No.
Really badly.
Larry failed an interview.
I failed the interview.
They said, don't call us, we'll call you.
And they never did. They haven't called to date. I'm still waiting for that call. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
So I have failed this interview badly. I'm embarrassed. I'm in Nairobi at my aunt's place. It's like, wow, what am I going to do? So my aunt runs a small kiosk in Gikomba, the big sprawling market. And she sells tea and mandazis and porridge to the people who work there. So I go and help her out for a few months, maybe almost a year actually.
Come on.
People buy mandazi and chai for 10 bob, and sometimes they take it on credit.
Come on.
Yes. So that was technically my first job, because at the end of the day and at the end of the week she'd give me something.
So I'm drawing a correlation with me here. There's a correlation because I was a flight attendant.
Right.
I was serving people. It was 39,000 feet.
Yeah.
You're
So
in
glorified waiter.
You're in Gikomba.
Exactly. Down in the dirt and the dust of Gikomba, interacting with people every day, and that taught me confidence, because I sat there thinking, no, I'm too good for this. But I'm like, no, if I was good for this, I would be somewhere else. But this is where I'm at in life right now. So I might as well, own it.
Were you cool about it? Were you okay?
After a while, I was cool about it. I was happy to help out. I was happy to develop relationships with these people, and the people I still know to date.
Really?
Yes.
And do they remember you?
Some of them do, and they were like, you used to be Victoria's kid here. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. They still owe you 10 bob.
Some of them still owe me money. Lipeni, by the way, I'll tell you a story.
Speaking of money,
yes.
Sorry to cut you off and to go off topic, but we have to discuss money.
Oh yes,
right?
We need to discuss money.
A moment ago, like a few minutes before the show, former Deputy Speaker Farah Malim walked into the set.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks ago, he was on the show and he said, look, I want to help out the GSU soldier who was killed in Garissa.
Yes.
And he says, I want to give him 100,000 shillings. He's been trying to get in touch with his dad. People have been trying to call.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to get in touch with his dad. So a few minutes ago, he showed up.
With a wad of notes.
A wad of notes. And I counted.
Yeah.
I counted, right?
It sounds right.
It sounds 100.
It sounds 100.
It sounds 100.
This is what Corporal Tanui.
Corporal Tanui.
Yes.
The hero. hero
gave
of
his
Garissa,
life, yes,
gave his
in
life for
Garissa.
those kids. In fact, he was going to arrest the guy. So the story goes.
Yeah, yeah.
And when he went to do that, the guy blew himself up and killed Tanui in the process. But obviously, the family has been,
And here's the embarrassing thing, which is one of his colleagues, Modern Core on Twitter, had to fundraise to try and give the family something.
So Farah Marlon has given 100,000 shillings, which I, Larry, you're the witness,
As the witness, yes.
will make sure that Tanui's father gets the cash, okay?
Absolutely. And he's promised to do a fundraiser.
Correct, with you and me.
We will do this fundraiser together.
So you, me, and Farah Marlon
Yes.
will do a fundraiser because he's got 3 kids.
He's
right?
got 3 really young kids.
11, 9, and 5. So are we together with that?
Yes, absolutely.
A collabo?
I'm in. A collabo. Done.
Sort of
Consider it
like,
done.
music collabo, like...
Yeah. But I'm the main artist featuring you. So this collab is Larry Madowo featuring Jeff Koinange.
No.
See? It seems
Larry.
only right.
Father Larry.
Father Larry, if you prefer. That's okay.
I like that.
I'm down for that. Speaking of money, is there any other monies maybe I owe you?
My man, usape utakuwa.
Hey, mazee, ni muhimu.
So we had a bet
We had a bet.
on the trend.
which you rigged.
Hey.
So here's the thing.
Go to Isaac Hassan, man.
I might need to bring in Isaac Hassan here. So Jeff comes on my show and says, whoever is first to get to 500,000 followers gets to donate 20,000 shillings to charity.
You said
But-
10,000.
Yeah.
I say let's double it.
Okay.
20,000.
But you were already 20,000 followers ahead of me.
You didn't
So there
decline.
was no way I was going to win it anyway.
This is true.
However, because I'm an honorable man and people from my village are honorable people in
Siaya County?
in the great county of Siaya,
Yes.
I brought the money.
Oh my goodness.
So where is this going to? You picked a charity.
I did pick a charity and I have
This
a
is
name.
20,000 Bob.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Look
Keep
at him.
talking.
He's going to count it.
Yeah, yeah.
He's going to a charity of
Yeah.
Jeff's choice. Whoa, he's really good at this. Look at that. Whoa, this is crazy right now.
Too short.
Get out of here.
So 20,000
Yes.
goes to the charity that I picked.
Yes.
Which I will tell you about in a moment. I have it, I have
Okay.
my guys on it.
Mutahi Ngunyi owes us money
Mutahi Ngunyi said he will also throw in 20.
because he thinks I don't read. I read a book every week.
Do you really?
Yes,
English.
English and sometimes Swahili. You see, when you gave me your book, it took me several weeks to get to it because
Yes.
I had a backlog of books I had to read.
Correct, correct.
So because of that, Mutahi Ngunyi owes us what?
20,000.
20,000 Bob.
And anybody else who wants to contribute at this
Yes.
point,
Yeah.
we're happy to donate to charity.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Larry. You're a gentleman.
Thank you so much.
Good man.
You won fairly.
Did you like the book?
The book was really good.
Honestly?
You write very well, and you have such an incredible story.
It's a.
How did you remember all those details?
I kept a log throughout the years. Kept a log, notes.
Is that
notes.
something you suggest people should do?
Yes.
Because you have incredible experiences, and sometimes
Correct.
after few years you don't remember.
You really forget.
Yeah.
I can remember the stuff I did last
You
week.
remember names and dates and
Yes,
places.
very important. Very important.
For somebody who travels that regularly, surely you would forget these
Absolutely. If someone is interested in writing a book, I'm sure you will. Dates, names, events, and just summarize.
Right.
One line. Cote d'Ivoire met Hassan and Musa, whatever.
Okay.
Did this. One line. Later on, it'll make sense because it all comes together.
things. Right. Very, very useful.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
So we're back in Gikomba.
Okay.
Tea, mandazis, the whole shebang. Are you getting pissed off? Are you frustrated? Are you saying, where's my life going?
In a sense, I am, but I'm also grateful for the learning experience this is, which is teaching me about patience, teaching me about God's timing, but also teaching me that, listen, you need to have bigger dreams than this. So eventually I decided, okay, listen, I'm going to go to Daystar. Because, and here's the real truth, at the time I really admired Louis Otieno
Oh, yeah.
and Lillian Muli, both of whom were at KTN, and they were really the biggest people in the business at the time.
Louis Otieno Live.
Louis Otieno Live was a big deal.
LOL.
Law. So I registered Daystar, and I can't really afford it because I don't have any money.
Yes.
So here's the background. I lost my dad when I was 7 years old. I lost my mom when I was 14 years old. I have a younger sister, 5 years younger than me, whom I love to bits, and she really helped me become an adult. I mean, capable of being an adult on my own.
Was it just two of you?
Just the two of us. So here I am, out of school. I don't have anybody to go to for money, and I want to go to Daystar, which is fairly expensive.
And the kid sister to take care of?
Yes. So I register, and my family comes together and they pay my first semester, which is all they can afford because they never paid another cent again. So I went for the first semester, I registered in Athi River, day scholar. And then the money ran out. So the next semester I went in, but
did you do well the first semester?
Yeah, I did well.
You did okay?
I did okay. Got a few A's. Then the second semester, I went in, but I didn't do exams because I didn't have money. Third semester as well. This is really starting to get to me. Like, why am I here? So I said, listen, I'm going to try and do something. So I started writing, freelance writing gigs, online portals, magazines here and abroad, writing letters to the editor, The Nation, The Standard, everybody published my pieces.
Are you getting paid?
I'm getting paid small bits of money, but it's really giving me a sense that maybe there might be something in this for me. This whole journalism thing, fine, I want to do it. I don't know how to get in there. My ambition is to work for KTN, because KTN is the biggest thing in television. It's
Larry's there, Lillian's there.
Yeah. At the time, Esther Runga was there.
Wow.
Esther Runga was a big deal.
Had Jeff Koinange left?
Jeff Koinange had left. Jeff Koinange was flying high at CNN at the time.
Carry on.
So, he likes that. I should just keep saying Jeff Koinange and good things.
Yeah.
So, after a while, I drop out because this is not making any sense.
Oh, no.
I keep doing exams. I keep going to class, but I can't do exams because
they
I
wouldn't
haven't
allow
finished
you.
my fees.
Right.
Which is the only way they can make sure that people pay their fees, right? So I drop out and I start doing freelance writing gigs and whatnot. Somewhere in the middle of that, I started doing this supermarket promotions. You know, these guys that stop you on the supermarket aisle and say, hey, today we have a promotion for
Yes, I see them all the time. They're very annoying.
And here's the thing, people will ignore you. Like you say, hi.
Yeah.
And they just walk right past you.
Yes. Yes.
And so here's the thing, you get an hour off at lunchtime, like let's say 1 to 2 p.m., but otherwise you're here from 8:30 when the supermarket opens until when it closes at 8:30. Speaking to people and 60% of them ignoring you, and you have a target to meet. You must sell at least this many number of cans or cigarettes or whatever.
So note to self, next time I see someone in the aisle,
please listen to them. They're starting out and they're struggling and they're trying to make something out of themselves.
There's some woman at the village market in Nakumatt selling Nutella. Nutella.
Yes.
What am I going to do with Nutella?
Buy it anyway. Donate it to someone. Buy it. Because that's how they're going to make the living.
Thank you.
And they paid me 300 bob at the end of the day. 300 bob.
3 sock.
3 sock. I have to go all the way. At one point I was at Junction. So you have to take a mat to Tao and then a mat to Junction. So back and forth you've maybe used 120 bob, lunch 70 bob. So how much are you left with?
1 sock.
Yes.
So moja.
So moja.
Boss.
But you have to do it because you need to do something with yourself.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so at some point in school, one of these guys, ladies, tells me, listen, there's a new station called Bahasha FM, and they're hiring interns. I was like, okay, I don't really speak Kikuyu. It's like, no, we need an English news anchor. I'm like, okay, that sounds fine. So I went, I did the interview, and they hired me.
Go on. So the lead up to the news.
The lead up to the news.
Yeah.
There used to be this really deep voiced guy called Ngodo Mwangi.
Yes.
Who is still in the business, by the way. He'd be like, at the end of the news, be like, Ogo Nego Kore. But at the very top, this is the one that leads into the news.
Yes.
There's some dramatic soundtrack. They're like, Mohoro Mwaki Mwaki. That means very hot news. And then at the end of the news, be like, Ogo Nego Kore. Ogo Nego Kore. And then the section for the station is Bahasha FM, Ngwataniro Nomo.
So then you read the English news.
Then I read the English news.
Right.
And then all the intros and outros are in Kikuyu.
Did you have fun?
I had so much fun there. I learned a lot of Kikuyu there. I understand Kikuyu. I speak enough Kikuyu to get by. Just from that experience.
Look at that. But
yes,
the owner owes you money.
Now here's the thing. The station was owned by
Nakada chairman.
John Mutudo. It was run by...
Good guy, by the way. Great guy.
Excellent guy. And Gadonio Mushomba, who was the biggest thing in Kikuyu radio at that point. She used to do the breakfast show. And so at the end of January 31st, 2008, they're like, now you see the post-election violence is here. We're not really making money as a business, so we can't afford to let you guys keep working here. And you know how they fired us? One day at the end of, I used to have a business block between 4 and like 4:10. So after that, they said, oh, kuna barua yako kwa reception. So I pass by the reception and I pick up the letters, I go away.
Yes.
Then I'm like, oh, this is it? That's it?
It's over.
Really, nobody had the courage to tell it to me, to my face?
Oh my God.
That's it.
You kidding me?
John Mutudo still owes me money.
How much?
60K.
Chairman?
Yes, he's gotten the point.
I think he has.
I've interviewed him a few times, but I've never really told him.
And he knows you work for him.
I don't even think he does, but he should know.
Now
yes,
he does.
He does.
He's watching.
Chairman
yes.
Pesa. We can donate that money to charity. If he gives it, we'll donate it to your charity.
Oh, my man.
60,000 bob is a lot of money. Should we account for inflation? That was 2008.
So times, let's say...
Let's just round it off to a nice round figure of 100,000. Yeah.
100.
Sounds fair to me.
Chairman, to my soul.
Unaweza tumia Jeff, by the way. You don't have to give it to me. So, at the end of January,
you've been laid off.
I've been laid off.
And post-election is happening.
Post-election violence is happening.
Times are tough.
Nobody's hiring.
Nobody's hiring.
Nobody's hiring. The country's in crisis. What am I going to do? I'm not in school because I can't afford it. So 2 months, I do a few more freelance writing gigs. And then again, another connection from school says, hey, KTN is hiring interns. I'm like, oh, but they only want 4th years. I'm like, technically, I'm a first year. So I don't really qualify. And I've never been on TV. Until that point, I had never been inside a TV studio. Never, ever.
Come on.
True story.
So what'd you do?
But I show up anyway.
You said, I'm going.
I'm going to go. So there's people from USIU in 4th year, there's people from Daystar in 4th year, there's people from University of Nairobi in 4th year. Then there's this...
there's Larry.
Who's never been on TV, has not done a single TV unit. But I'm here anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, long story short, we did a bunch of interviews, did screen tests, did voice tests. First time in the TV studio, so at the point of recording it, I tell those guys, if I don't get this job, can I keep this tape? Just like, you know, for my home library.
You're real, yeah, you're real.
I'd just love to keep this because I was in the KTN studio. This is kind of a big deal.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Have you seen any superstars walking around, milling around? Have you seen anybody?
I walk into the newsroom and like there's Beatrice Marshall just minding her business there. How crazy is this? Lena Sekai is here.
Huge.
And everybody
they're all there.
Up to.
Even Okedi.
Even Okedi. Well, Okedi was not bad. Okedi's an excellent director.
Yeah, he's great. Okay.
So... Eventually, the HR calls us at that time, and there's only 3 of us left. Myself, Mahia Mutua, works at CCTV now, and Ukesta Nyabwa, who works at across the competition.
3 of you?
There's 3 of us left. And in fact, she was like, are you really 18? Like, are we going to be hiring a minor? I'm like, no, I'm 20. It's like, okay, good. So yeah, we're going to give you a trainee reporter's job. I'm like, are you kidding me? They did hire me.
What about the other 2?
As a trainee reporter, the 3 of us. So me, myself, Mahia Mutua, and Ukesta Nyabwa.
Wow.
So basically, we're glorified interns, but we couldn't care less. We get paid.
How did you feel, Larry?
We get paid.
How did you feel?
Like, this is crazy. My ambition for doing broadcast, my ambition for going to Daystar was to work for KTN, and here I am.
Already?
Even having failed, having dropped out of school.
Not dropped out, you just couldn't afford it.
Well, I couldn't afford it, so I was out. But here I am, they gave me a job. It took me a week of getting hired. It took me a whole week before I gathered courage to go and speak to Esther Runga. Because in my head, she was a little goddess.
Correct.
Like, you don't just approach.
No.
How dare you?
How dare you? It's like approaching me.
That's not like approaching Jeff.
Yeah,
You'd be like, my God. I need to give some respectable distance up in here.
So, was she okay?
She was really lovely, and we became really good friends.
Wow.
She mentored me. She was really kind to me. And that's why it's been so painful to see her go through all this experience.
Shame, huh?
And I've tried reaching out a number of times, but the Esther I knew at KTN, the Esther who I last spoke to planning her wedding, is not the Esther we see now.
We see every day.
She's not the same person. Shame. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, life happened.
I don't know what happened there.
So Larry, in the meantime, are you going out doing stories? Are you out there reporting? Are you...
So I come in, and Farida Karone, who used to run KTN at the time, tells me, now there's somebody who just left the business desk. We're going to take you to business. I'm like, but I don't have a degree in economics or finance or any of these things. They're like, a guy. So this is it. You take it or leave it. So do you want to work for us, or do you want to go and do your kind of reporting? So I'm like, okay, I'll take it. Starting from scratch.
You're no longer an intern.
I'm a glorified intern, trainee reporter, but my position is on the business desk. So I go in and have to start from zero. Luckily, at the KTN business desk, they had this excellent team of people. Cynthia Nyamai was there.
Is that right?
Yes, Cynthia Nyamai used to be on the KTN business desk. She bullied me, but she really helped me out. And this desk had like Samuel Kantai, who works at CCTV now, and Peter Wakab, and all these great guys who came in and took me this little brother of theirs, and they taught me everything I know. And they were patient with me, and they corrected me over this almost 3 years.
Wow. Okay, umesikia hiyo mambo? We're going to take a break. I want to come back and talk more about... I'm getting inspired. The little kid
just
from
a guy.
The little kid from Siaya.
The little boy from Siaya.
How far is your village from Kogelo?
We are neighboring. Now how did I not lead with this? I should have led with this. My village, Barding and Kogelo are basically neighbors.
What?
Barding.
How do you spell that?
Barding.
Okay, just
There's a national school in my village.
What's it called?
It's called Barding Secondary. Of course, it's got to be named after the village. What else could it be
you
named
and
after?
Obama, your
Obama and I, we could have shared the same river. We could have shared the same river.
You could have peed in the same river?
We could have peed in the same river. My grandmother and her grandmother, like buddies, they hang out.
So when he comes,
he needs to go and build a Simba to start with.
Okay.
You know, like every Luo man that comes of age needs to build a Simba. And we are concerned that he hasn't built that. So when he comes, yes, he obviously needs to go home.
But you're going to hang out with him. I mean, you have to be there.
I know people who know people.
Who will get you in the room.
Who will have to get me into the room.
Yeah.
So it's between you and me, Jeff. Have you seen the Twitter webs?
I've seen the Twitter webs.
Yes.
It's tough.
It's on.
But you know what, Larry? I always say on this show, it's not about me.
Look at him trying to be modest. Okay? Okay, let's talk when I interview Obama.
If you do that, you're dead.
Oh really?
You want another bet? You want another bet?
Let's bet.
Who interviews Obama?
Yes. 100,000. Done.
To a charity.
To a charity.
Okedi's gonna add another 10K.
Okedi's gonna add another 10K.
Anyone else?
Awesome. Going once.
Isaiah. Tony? 10K?
10K. Isaiah.
120 already. Anybody else?
What is this?
Hebron 3K. We've got 123K.
123K.
For whoever interviews Obama between you and me.
It's on.
Like Donkey Kong.
It's on like a switch.
What a character, folks. My goodness. Larry Madowo.
We need to talk about that when we come back.
All right, when we come back. Whoa! 27 years old. What a story. What a kid. What a superstar.
Keep going, please keep going. I'm listening.
Keep tweeting at Larry Madowo, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag, The Trend. Why not? Give the kid a chance. After all, I'm gonna win some money. All over again. JKL takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.